Ron Howard speaks out about his marriage after 48 long years. Ron Howard rose to fame as Opie on The Andy Griffith Show when he was 5 years old. He continued his career in Hollywood by appearing in Happy Days, and he rose to prominence as an actor and director. Outside of the limelight, Howard and his wife, Cheryl Howard, are celebrating 48 years of marriage. Cheryl and Ron met a long time ago. It's been more than 50 years since their first date, and they're still madly in love. Now he spills the beans on their amazing marriage. Ron Howard began his career as an actor virtually before he could speak. Ron Howard was born on March 1st, 1954 in Duncan, Oklahoma, into a creative and theatrical family. Jean, his mother, was an actress, and Rance, his father, was an actor and director. Ron Howard, actor and director. Ron made his film debut at the age of 18 months with Frontier Woman. He made his theatrical debut at the age of 2 in a performance of The 7-Year Itch. And shortly after, additional work offers poured in. Howard appeared in a number of television series. A producer named Sheldon Leonard believed he was terrific when he appeared on the CBS series Playhouse 90 in 1959. He went on to cast Ron Howard as Opie in his new series, The Andy Griffith Show, which permanently altered Howard's life. The TV series and the residents of the fictitious town of Mayberry became renowned and popular for upholding the rigorous moral code of the 1950s and 1960s. It was a household favorite for 8 years, and the classic program is still a fan favorite today. Opie, who played Andy Taylor's or Andy Griffith's son, was a significant part for Howard. His parents had always encouraged his performing career. They told him when he was younger that he didn't have to perform in such programs if he didn't want to. However, after he was cast, their attitude shifted. Recall how we used to say, "You can do it if you want, but you don't have to"? Well, if you start this, you can't stop. Howard remembered his parents saying to him, "You don't have to do other parts on other shows if you don't want to, but you must continue doing this one." Ron Howard, Opie. Ron Howard heard what his parents were saying and knew exactly what he intended to achieve. "I think it was pretty clear at that point that I was enjoying it and that I was good at it," he said. Ron Howard was not only a fan of The Andy Griffith Show, but he was also a fantastic performer. Eleanor Donahue, who played pharmacist Ellie Walker for 12 episodes, remembered working with Ron Howard, and she was rather impressed. "Ron Howard was the best child actor I'd ever worked with," stated Donahue. "He was just something. He was always on point with his lines. He also knew your lines," she continued. "Not the least bit bratty or know-it-all or anything," Donahue added. "A very nice boy." Working with Ron Howard was clearly beneficial to the rest of the cast. It must be difficult to manage smaller children on set, but this was not the case with Howard and Griffin. Howard revealed to NPR that the two had fantastic on-screen chemistry. "You know, in situation comedies, they always have the kids be brats," Howard observed. "They're the kind of kids who make you think, God, somebody ought to just discipline that kid." But the Andy-Opie connection was more of a genuine one, in which the father intervenes when the child misbehaves. Bullied because of The Andy Griffith Show. And the child respects his father rather than being a wise guy all the time. And Andy took to it right away, and that's one of the things that sets it apart from what we're used to seeing on sitcoms. Following the success of The Andy Griffith Show, one would expect Ron Howard to become the popular kid in school. The truth, however, was very different. Ron Howard claimed in his 2012 memoir that he was ashamed to speak about his childhood as an actor. "Among my peers, I was embarrassed to be an actor," Howard said. "It was not something to be talked about. The Andy Griffith program was the #1 program in the nation, so I was always aware that there was something unique I could do and that I could operate in an adult setting. I was the butt of a lot of jokes," he said. "The name of my character, Opie, rhymes with dopey. I'd have to start fighting with people." This could have shattered anybody, and for Howard, the worst-case situation was definitely quitting acting entirely. Nevertheless, he was resolute and wouldn't yield to anyone. 2 Academy Awards. "Fortunately, I was able to hang on," Howard remarked. "I used to spend quite a bit of time hanging out with the team. The workers would have a great time showing me what they had done." Ron Howard's career began with The Andy Griffith Show. He continued to perform, but most significantly, he discovered his passion for directing. He became a hit when he directed his debut 3-minute picture, Deed of Daring Do, when he was just 15 years old. For A Beautiful Mind, he received 2 Academy Awards in 2001, Best Picture and Best Director. "I was an actor who dreamed of being a director," he said. Ron Howard has reached the age of 67. He's a loving father and husband, in addition to having a fantastic and extremely successful profession. In Hollywood, we often see celebrities dating, marrying, divorcing, and remarrying someone else. But that hasn't been the case with Ron Howard and his wife Cheryl. Their love story is simply incredible. Who is Ron Howard's wife? Howard met Cheryl for the first time while attending John Burroughs High School in Burbank, California. He felt an immediate connection from the moment they saw each other. And as Howard himself said, there was never anybody else. Howard recounted their first date, which took place on November 1st, 1970, in an Instagram post last year. "We went to see Stanley Kramer's It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World re-release, and then had pizza at the now-defunct Barnone's in Toluca Lake. Isn't that a good start?" During high school, a lot of things happen. People begin to follow separate aspirations and attend college, and maintaining a relationship may be quite difficult. It was not a problem for Ron and Cheryl. Instead, they remained by each other's sides throughout their adolescence and for many years thereafter. He and Cheryl, like Ron's parents, were creative individuals. He enjoyed directing and performing, and Cheryl enjoyed writing. She went on to become a novelist, and her works include The Face of Gin, Grandma, Tell Me a Story, and Heart and Desire. "As a child, I was obsessed with adventure stories, fairy tales, and true-life accounts of people who had traveled all over the world," Cheryl wrote in her website's profile. "I didn't start writing until I was 22 years old, and English was never my strong suit, but I do adore a good yarn, especially if I'm just a bit more aware of the world around me thereafter." Ron Howard, family. When Ron and Cheryl first began dating, he was obsessed with filmmaking. He even employed his father, brother, and Cheryl in his video. "I did live action with my father, who's an actor, and my brother Clint, who's also an actor, and I needed a third. It was a Western thing," Ron told The Observer. "I deceived you. I was able to sneak into the back lot of studio's Western set, and I needed a saloon girl, so I asked Cheryl, 'Do you want to be the saloon girl?' We hadn't been dating that long, but she came," he said. "All she had to do was stand off to the side and wink while these two had this ridiculous fight. Well, I finished second," he remarked. "That felt pretty lucky." Ron Howard and Cheryl married in 1975. Bryce, the couple's oldest daughter, was born in 1981, while twin daughters Jocelyn and Paige came 4 years later. Reed, their son, was born in 1987. Their oldest daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard, is also a well-known Hollywood actress. "I felt quite fortunate when we met. It's unbelievable. We were teens. It shouldn't have worked. We married young, which shouldn't have worked either, but it did," Howard said in 2013. Communication is really important. Even though Cheryl isn't as enthusiastic about movies as her husband, she's always been there to encourage Ron. He said that he always needed people to fill in as extras in his productions, and Cheryl was always willing to help. The couple celebrated their 48th wedding anniversary on June 7th. It's also been more than 50 years since they went on a first date. So what's the key to such a long and happy marriage? It's all about communication, according to Ron Howard. People asked, "How'd you do it?" "There's no method. There's no strategy other than communication," he told People magazine in 2019. "You must learn to communicate and have difficult conversations in constructive ways," Howard adds. "Beyond that, there's an element of luck because people either grow together or they don't, and I don't think you can force that." True love. Even though both Ron and Cheryl have had and continue to have very successful jobs, family will always come first. "Seeing them together has inspired me to believe in genuine love. She's been unbelievably supportive and always has been," Howard remarked of Cheryl. "A variety of experiences have put our compatibility to the test."